Regulation around cryptocurrency and NFTs is going to come sooner rather than later, and we're all hoping that Ethereum is not going to be classified as a security. If it is classified as a security, it will not be the end of the world. People make money trading securities all of the time, but it would pose a lot of issues for DeFi and centralized exchanges and how things currently operate. In today's video, we're going to discuss a podcast clip from the Unchained Podcast, which is a podcast that I personally follow and get a lot of great information from. In this clip, we're going to see a very knowledgeable person in a high up position in the cryptocurrency sector, basically saying that Ethereum is not a security and also breaks down a few reasons as to why. It's a great clip, super informative, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing with you guys my thoughts around the entire thing. We will also briefly discuss Ethereum prices and how we have currently seen a bit of a pullback recently, and I also just briefly want to discuss the Memecoin craze and a few things you guys need to look out for to make sure that you're not getting wrecked. Remember guys, if you're looking to succeed in Web3, make money, make connections, get access to all the best opportunities possible, you need to be a part of the best Discords. If you're looking to join a great Discord, you can check out my private Discord in the description below, which will provide you with all the opportunities and resources you need to succeed in these crazy markets. So we're going to take a look at this podcast clip, and then I'll give you guys my brief thoughts around how this person thinks Ethereum is not a security and why.
Welcome, Jason.
Thanks, Laura. It's great to be back with you.
The SEC has been in crypto news for all sorts of reasons recently. Let's start with a big one. SEC Chair Gary Gensler's dancing around the question of whether ETH is a security. In the House Banking Committee hearing earlier this week, what did you think of Chair Gensler's refusal to say whether or not ETH is a security?
Look, ETH isn't a security. It's frankly pretty obvious to me. But even if it were, it's too late to do anything about it at this point, right? The SEC has statutes of limitations. ETH was first issued before 5 years ago. So there's really very little that the SEC could do about that right now. Now, statute of limitations is a very complicated thing, so there's a lot of asterisks there. We won't get into that here. But I think that Chair Gensler is facing an uncomfortable reality. Even if he wanted to do something about it, there's nothing he could do about it. And he knows that if he's caught in a sort of trap there, if he declares, yes, I think ETH is a security, it could have all sorts of terrible knock-on effects in the market and would really have a devastating effect on the consumers that he's purporting to try to protect. On the other hand, if he said, well, ETH is not a security, then you'd have 100,000 crypto projects saying, we're just like ETH. What's the problem here? So he's caught in this very uncomfortable position where he doesn't want to say anything. But of course, if you have the chair of the SEC who can't even tell us a basic thing like whether ETH is a security, and then in the same breath tell us, but everything in crypto is very clear. The rules are very clear. The guidelines are very clear. It just comes off as nonsense to everyone else who's listening to that.
So in this clip, he basically says that the SEC had about 5 years to bring some sort of action against Ethereum to classify it as a security, and since it's been more than 5 years, they can no longer do so. He also goes on to say that there's a lot of nuances here and it's fairly complicated, but the general gist is basically he doesn't believe Ethereum is a security, but on top of that, the SEC, even if they did think it was a security, could no longer bring that action against it regardless. He also goes on to talk about if he does or doesn't say Ethereum is a security, it could swing the pendulum widely in both directions. Consumers could get badly hurt, people who hold Ethereum, people who work with Ethereum could become financially impacted by this news, but also if he classifies Ethereum and comes out and says it is not a security, then basically every other cryptocurrency that runs on top of Ethereum or any other blockchain like Solana or Cardano could use that precedent and that language to argue against any other blockchain being a security also. So it's a very slippery slope, he says, and essentially they're stuck in a very difficult place, and that makes labeling Ethereum a security incredibly difficult and not really something they can do at this time. So for me, this is incredibly bullish, and I will continuously be dollar cost averaging into Ethereum under $2,000 because that's where I think the fair value currently lies. That's basically the risk I want to take. I see great upside dollar cost averaging into Ethereum below $2,000. Obviously, this is not financial advice, but for me personally and my personal financial situation, I want a decent amount of exposure to Bitcoin and Ethereum and a handful of other altcoins for the next crypto cycle that we're hopefully going to see in 2024 or 2025. So I would highly recommend watching the rest of this podcast. It's super informative, very entertaining, and you're going to learn a lot. I will link it in the description below, so make sure to check out the Unchained podcast in the description below. All right, my friends, so now we're taking a look at the 1 hour chart for Ethereum, and as you can see, Ethereum has currently retraced about 13% from $2,000. And if you remember in my last video, I suggested that last time we saw meme coins going crazy and a frenzy of FOMO and greed, that would potentially signal some sort of top. And I put my money where my mouth is, and I shorted ETH at around $2,000. And so far, that play has paid out very nicely. But whether or not the meme coins and the altcoins going crazy was the reason for this pullback or not, we have seen that pattern take place multiple times before. Hence why I said it in my last video, and hence why I put my money where my mouth is and shorted ETH around $2,000. And so it's important to remember that there's a lot of opportunity in this space if you have some sort of handle on the macro sentiment of the overall market. I think you can time swings, longs, and shorts of Ethereum, Bitcoin, and potentially some altcoins fairly easily. Obviously, shorting with leverage increases your risk exponentially, and also it is basically just speculation and essentially just gambling. So regardless, we have currently seen this retrace, and now we will see if Ethereum can hold around this 1800 mark, or if we will continue lower into that consolidation zone, which I pointed out in my last video as well, where we're bouncing around between $1,000 ETH and $2,000 ETH, and basically just it being a very good dollar cost average zone. And that's what I'm going to be sticking with, dollar cost averaging below 2,000 Ethereum, and watching these numbers like a hawk, just so I can understand what my position is at any current moment. Also, super quick, the market is currently saying a 92% chance of a 0.25% interest rate hike in the United States next month. Then a pause, and then a pause. So we'll see if that ends up being accurate. Historically, it has been accurate, and this could potentially signal even slightly more of a pullback from the Ethereum current price of around $1,800, or we might just continue to go sideways because the market doesn't have too much interest rate FUD and news to price in. So we'll see. Right now, I'm just watching this, continuously updating you guys on where the market thinks we're headed in terms of interest rates, which is inevitably going to affect any sort of risk asset that we invest in. So right now, I think is a great time to dollar cost average and just be patient. We are seeing a decline in NFT floor prices basically across the board, except for a select few of very bullish projects. One of those projects is Memeland, which I have a decent amount of exposure into and really like as a project as a whole. In general, I have sold off many of my NFTs and concentrated that capital into a select few projects. That is my current plan, dollar cost averaging cryptocurrency. So I have a big enough bag that I'm comfortable with having based on my risk tolerance for the next cycle, and also making sure I don't have too many investments to watch, so I can put as much mental bandwidth into the ones I currently have and be able to pay attention to what's happening to those certain assets as much as I possibly can. So shrinking my NFT bag and concentrating that capital into a small amount of projects, and dollar cost averaging the big two, Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's my current plan. Patience is going to be key. Right now, we're seeing a ton of greed and FOMO around meme coins, just people doing the most degenerate, silly, risky stuff. We have seen people literally send upwards of $50,000 to a random Ethereum address that has basically said, hey, look, we're a pre-sale. We'll give you an airdrop later. Just trust us, send your money. That is a scam as old as time. The just trust me, bro scam. Please take your time, be patient. These meme coins are going to fly and go crazy, and you're going to see a bunch of people say, look, I turned $500 into $1 million on Twitter. And that is going to invoke these sort of FOMO emotions in you that you need to combat. Please be careful with your Ethereum. Double check what you're connecting to. Download Pocket Universe, which is a Chrome extension that will essentially tell you if you're connecting to a malicious contract or not. Do not send ETH to a random address in hopes of some random airdrop. 99.9% of the time, that's going to be a scam. And just practice some patience and stick to some sort of investment plan that you have curated for your own personal financial situation. Look, guys, this market's crazy. You need to be surrounded by the right people and resources. You need to be patient, fight FOMO, stick to the objective facts, cut losses when you need to, readjust your portfolio when you need to, and I think you'll just be fine. A lot of people are going absolutely nuts right now, and a lot of people are going to get wrecked. Very few people make generational wealth trading meme coins. Very few people make generational wealth trading NFTs. It requires patience. The people who have made it the most in NFTs got in super early and held on for dear life and either sold the top or accumulated assets that NFT gave them. So remember, guys, take your time. Don't fall for stupid scams. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, it probably is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Ethereum not being a security is really cool, and hopefully that ends up being true. Once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the very next one. Make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, do all that stuff to help this channel grow, and I'll see you guys in the very next video. Peace.